Hey friends, Dustin here. You're watching the Life of Lynn channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Today, we're doing a turbo upgrade on, well, the most fuel-efficient car we own. A 2012 Chevy Sonic LT Turbo. That's a 1.4 liter of that guy. And, well, these cars aren't that bad, really. They're pretty roomy for how small they are. They get decent fuel mileage. They're zippy. They're fun to drive around. But that 1.4 liter does have some issues. This car only has 112,000 miles on it, and we typically get about 33 miles to the gallon in it. We need a car like this in our fleet because everything else I own has a massive V8 and a turbocharger and probably gets 12 to 17 miles to the gallon. So 33 is excellent. Now, on these cars, the 1.4 liter is a little bit flawed. There's some major issues with the PCV system that can wreak havoc on the rest of the engine. There's some oiling issues if you do not change the oil on time like you're supposed to and do not use high quality oils like I do. Now this car runs pretty good, but we did start having some check engine lights come on, and we were losing a little bit of our miles per gallon. It's getting about 28, 29 right now. We went ahead and replaced one of the main issues on this car, which is the valve cover and PCV setup. Common issues that get plugged up. All of a sudden you have vacuum when you're not supposed to have vacuum, and all kinds of other things start happening. It developed a rough idle. Took care of that. New valve cover setup, new PCV system. Bam. Everything else was good, except occasionally we get a check engine light for a low boost code. And well, the next thing that's known on these cars is the turbochargers go out because they're tiny and they see a lot of heat. And they tend to crack. There tends to be oiling problems. So today we're doing a full service, filter, oil, everything's getting flushed. And we're replacing that turbocharger with a real nice Stegen performance unit right here. Look at the little guy, look at that. Now, kind of a nice unit. Everything comes together, including the manifold. The turbo, that's all there. Your wastegate controller, the wastegate, and even your blow off or bleed through valve on the side there. But look how cute that is. That's neat, huh? Nice little performance unit. And we're not doing any of this to make this car faster like the rest of our vehicles. This one specifically getting performance upgrades, so it'll be at peak efficiency and get the best possible fuel mileage that we can get out of it. So we're gonna jump into this thing, yank this old turbo off. We're also gonna be draining all the fluids out of it today, flushing that all out, because we are replacing the turbo feed line for oil and the turbo drain line. That way if there's any oil caking in there, we take care of that issue as well. So we're jumping right into it. Let's get to it now. Friends, are you ever hanging out in your North 40, looking out over your fields going, I should go hunting? Then realize it's not hunting season, and possibly there's a giant storm that's about to wipe you off the face of the earth. Yeah, well, that could happen. So, not a good time to go hunting, but it's a great time to play Hunting Clash. Hunting Clash is the #1 simulator for hunting, and you guys got to go check it out. I got a link down in the description. Let's talk about it for a second. Yes! I just tagged a sweet buck right here in Hunting Clash. And Hunting Clash, well, that is an amazing free-to-play game in Android and iOS. Hunting Clash is a great game to play, especially when the world brings you lemons and the apocalypse is on your doorstep, or just a casual storm like tonight. Got some lightning going off in the background. Not a good time to be hunting myself, so it's a perfect time to grab Hunting Clash and jump on anywhere in the world. They've got deserts, they've got mountain ranges, they've got all kinds of animals, anywhere from small game to really just crazy large stuff. And a ton of weapons you guys can choose from too. Lots of long guns. You've got lever action guns, 22 stuff for small things. You can even get crossbows. What? Crossbows? Excellent. Well guys, I hope to see you out there, out in the mountains, out in the plains, out in the desert. We're gonna be out there hunting. I hope you guys are too. Go ahead and use our promo code down below, or a link in the description, or this QR code down there, and you're gonna get an awesome starter pack for first time players. Gold, we got skill tokens. Oh man, we got it all. Head on over there, support Hunting Clash because they support the Life of Lynn channel. Download it today. We'll see you out there. Now, I gotta get some work done. All right, had to pause old Sturgill Simpson on the boombox there for a second because bring you guys an update. So I glanced at the procedure to do this, and it didn't look too hard. That apparently was on a model that didn't have air conditioning because these AC lines are obviously in the way, but I was able to very carefully bend them out of the way, and that helped. But the AC compressor was way down there. You see that? Where is he? Down there. And it's in the way of getting to all the bolts that are underneath the manifold, because the manifold's in the way of getting to the bolts from up here. So I've removed all the studs out of the manifold. It's loose. Turbo's still attached via coolant lines. And let me see if I can show you where this is. I got some lights on down there. I've got this wrench barely fits in between the manifold and the turbo inlet there. Down under here, yeah, you can't even see it, is the bolt that holds the drain back tube for the coolant on the turbo. Now the intake side is over here. It wasn't too big a deal. It just comes off this line here. But man, getting to the bolts underneath the manifold's pretty hard. And you do have to take your wastegate actuator off to get to all the bolts. Plus you're gonna need a whole bunch of different size extensions and wobblers, because there's some angles that you just can't hit. And there's some stuff that the power tools don't reach. So I have this angled head ratchet, which luckily has a long enough handle that I can actually get to it. I think this is the last bolt I got to take, and then I got to very careful finagle this thing out of here and not break these chintzy plastic lines that have 100,000 miles on them. Coming along. Need to have a little seat after that ordeal. That took a little bit longer than what the time lapse looked like, in case you're wondering. Sucker was in there for sure, but got it out. Only broke a handful of things. I was able to get everything loosened up and separated so I can get back to it. Putting it back in is going to be a little bit of a pain, I think. So I'm going to have to take the new turbo slightly apart to get it in there and get things bolted up. And also that bolt we just took out to get the coolant drain tube out down there, I'm not sure, my hands can't fit in there to thread it on there. So yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get it back on there. Also, as expected, 100,000 miles on plastic that has hot oil going through it. Yeah, incredibly brittle. There's some really bad design flaws in this thing, for sure. So we broke that. I expected that actually, so here's a brand new, genuine GM Part 1 with a new heat shield and everything on it. Also, this is our new turbo oil supply line. And of course, we got all new brackets and gaskets and bolts. Got all the studs out. Feel pretty good about that. We got new ones to go back in. So let's inspect our turbo and see if we were right about everything on there. This looks like a factory original. You guys can't see on the camera, but it still spins. It's not loose, but it has spots where it kind of gets tighter. So I don't think we were hitting the RPM we needed to on that. And well, here's the big thing. This is why we're not hitting our boost levels we're supposed to be. A, this is janky and loose. This whole housing around the wastegate is cracked. You see that? cracked there and all the way through there. So that means even when this thing's trying to make maximum boost under acceleration, and this loose flap is closed over this, you gotta imagine when this thing heats up, these cracks are gonna expand and exhaust is coming out all different directions and not being fed through the turbine like it's supposed to. Yeah, look at that. I can't even turn it now. If you're real careful, turn it gently, it'll go. So yeah, I think we found our problem. She's worn out. There's the other side of our turbo drain, oil drain tube, broken. Everything else looks okay. We're gonna go get that new unit ready to go in. Hopefully it goes easier. Turbo installed. That was not great. It was a little bit harder actually putting it in because you couldn't line things up, because you couldn't put your hands where you needed to, because everything in here is so small and I've got sausage paws, so see the problem. I did get it on relatively quickly. Got a little carried away here. We broke off that exhaust manifold bolt there, so we're gonna have to pull the whole thing back apart to replace that. I'm hoping that the other 7 bolts or so prevents that from leaking. Plus we have this big steel plate that goes across the front. If it leaks, I guess I'll pull it all back off and we'll go through the process again. For now, I'm gonna leave all the covers off so I can douse this whole thing and brake clean and wash it off, because there's oil and coolant everywhere. And speaking of oil, we're just filling it back up, doing our oil change. And GM, you could have, you know, made this a little taller so this would sit in here. I guess I can hold a funnel, but then I can't video and pour, you know, whatever. I mean, I see the rest of the valve covers up here. If that was that height, then this would have been held up. I'm just saying, okay? Future reference, GM guys. I'm also gonna go ahead and retorque these valve covers up here. Looks like I got a wee bit of a leak. And what's not, because those are relatively new, just a few months old on there. And then clean this up a little bit. Then we're gonna go take it for a test drive, see how she does. All right, got it pulled out of the shop, rinsed everything off underneath the hood, tightened up all those bolts that needed just an extra foot-pound of torque on them, and hooked the computer up, cleared all my codes. Now we're in the spaceship, because this thing is just, if you guys have never seen one of these things, they're made in a few different countries under different names, but here in America, this is called the Sonic, and it has a display out of a Sea-Doo, basically. Interesting. Don't hate it. It's a weird car, but pretty fun to drive. Let's give it some boost. Oh yeah, a little tire spin. Oh, check engine light came back on right away. That's great. Goodness, this thing's all over the road. All right. Took a little time. Did a little bit more driving. Scanned our codes, and yeah, under boost condition again. Great. Been taking things apart, double checking. Then I remembered. I was installing a new turbo, the wastegate actuator or boost controller. Oh, see that little broken bit there? Yeah, that little plastic piece broke off. I thought, oh, no big deal. The old turbo still has one. It's not broken off. I just ran some compressed air through this, about 20 pounds. The old one, when you blow pressure through the side port, blows it all out of the top. So clearly, this little solenoid valve is not working. So I'm really bummed that I broke the brand new one that came with the turbo. And there's no visible way to take this apart and replace that valve piece on the top. So kind of have to get a new one of those. But I did check everything else out while I was down here. Seems to be good. So I'm going to go see if I can find one of those and swap her in there, button it all back up, and take it for another drive. All right, took a couple days to get that part in. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't break small, cheap plastic parts that you're keeping your project from being completed. Pretty easy to throw that one back in there. Already got it done. All right, feels good so far. We're buzzing out to the highway. All right, we're here at the highway. Gonna buzz out here and then just map the throttle and see what she's got. Well, turbo's working. Feeling the boost. Feels better than it did. Yep, I think we solved our problem there. Running good now. All right. Well, friends, there you have it. Turbo upgrade, not for performance, but for economy. And that's okay in my book sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes, but hey. Not a fast car, but pretty fun to drive. Gets good mileage. That thing's ready to go another 100,000, maybe. I don't know. They're kind of throwaway cars. We'll see how long it makes it, okay? But for now, it's doing good. I want to thank you guys for jumping in with me today, watching this episode. Got a bunch of parts for all our other projects coming. Some stuff is just crazy far out, like engine rebuild parts right now. End of July is what I'm being told on them. So we might just grab the old hone and just wall her out ourselves and put a new set of rings on it, put it back together, and throw twin turbos on it. Probably going to blow it up, but I don't want to wait till August to get those videos to you guys. Plus, we're missing racing season, and it'd be really cool to watch a Winnebago do a wheelie down a track, I think. Shoot a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think on that one. As for me, I'm going to go play a little bit of Hunting Clash. Hope you guys join my clan on there. Again, links down in the description. Come find us. Thanks again for watching, guys. God bless you. We'll see you next time.